Hi, I'm Caden, here with my brother,
Cal,
and you're listening to Eating W's.
eat the W.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W.
So, on today's episode of Eating W's, we are, of course, doing our Week 7 recap of what I must say was quite a boring week. Lots of games that should have been complete domination that were complete domination.
A lot of the favorites won this week.
Many of the favorites.
Single-handedly.
Yeah, many of the favorites very decisively won this week. But we'll jump right into it. So, first off, we had the Broncos at Browns in the Thursday night football game. This was, of course, the injury bowl for the Browns and a golden opportunity for the Broncos to pick up a win, but they did not. The Browns ended up winning it 17-14, and mostly on the back of D'Ernest Johnson.
Yes. Out of USF and the AAF. He was a running back for the Orlando Apollos in that short-lived AAF football league. So he was their starter in Orlando, and has just been trying to get on with a team in the NFL ever since. He said he didn't do the XFL. He was trying out for football or NFL camps at that time, so he wasn't part of that. But just been bouncing around practice squads and training camps, and finally got his real chance on a prime time Thursday night and showed up.
He played well.
I was surprised by how bad the Broncos looked. They look now like the team that has just mailed it in on the season. It's just like, yeah, we're not very good. They thought they were with their first 3 wins against the bottom 3 teams.
I had high hopes for the Broncos, and they just have not played up
I'm
to
interested
it so
to
far.
see that first Broncos-Chiefs game.
Yeah?
Yep. The loser of that game will be in last place of the AFC West.
Okay.
Now that's not this week, but when
As I say, it's got to be
no, but
coming
it's
up,
they
one
got to
of the
be
divisional
soon because
matchups,
it's one of 2 divisional matchups. But
Bron-
that's gonna be a what do they call that? A cellar battle.
Cellar battle.
Yeah,
Never heard that.
cellar dwellers.
But
Basement battle, something like that. Yeah.
the Broncos also had some injuries on their defense. I think they might have been missing
Chubb was out.
I think they're missing Von Miller.
He played, but he got hurt during the game.
Oh, did he? I want to say they're missing a corner. I can't remember exactly though, but man, the Browns had a really beat up roster, but they were still able to pull off a win. So good for them.
That's on coaching.
Big
Fancy's
time.
a good coach.
Fancy's such a good coach. All right, moving on to the Sunday slate of games, we got the Chiefs heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans, and man, this was just a domination. Callan's been saying it for a while. I haven't really been in on it yet, but I might kind of be feeling it now. The Chiefs might be a bad team.
The Chiefs are a bad team this year.
It's
Andy Reid said they're seeing things that they've never seen before, which says to me,
a good thing.
reading between the lines, is that your team is acting and playing in a way that you either don't expect them to or not preparing them to. I don't know. Andy Reid said it was all on him, and it is. It is. They look unprepared. They're undisciplined. They lead the league in penalties. Their defense is last in almost every statistical category, and if they're not last, they're second to last.
That's
Every statistical category as a team defense can have. That's like third down conversion rate, first downs, yards, everything. They're either last or second to last.
Yeah, that's rough.
And I think I started. So the Chiefs are pretending to be a bad team this year. They're faking the fake. They want Eric Bieniemy as their next head coach. So they're going to get Andy Reid fired so they can promote Bieniemy before he goes to another team, because he should have been a coach 3 years ago. The dude is an offensive. I mean, he appeared to be an offensive mastermind, but this year it hasn't gone so well. I think that's the team. I think there's an ulterior motive here.
Though I agree, they might want Bieniemy to be their head coach. A much simpler way is just fire Reid. Because at this point, when this good of a team is playing this bad, a coach firing isn't the craziest thing to see. And also, that's the perfect way to throw a team into overdrive and kind of flip their season around.
Look at the Raiders. Yeah, and I didn't even think that would happen because of the circumstances of that one. But
so, yeah, of course the Titans played well. I'll give it to them. Derrick Henry threw a touchdown, which is pretty funny to see.
Running backs playing quarterback everywhere.
But, God, the Chiefs just did not look good at all, to say the least. It was rough for them. Next up, we have the football team heading to Green Bay to take on the Packers, and pretty obvious one here. Cal and I both had the Packers.
Yeah.
The Packers decisively held it the whole game.
It was pretty well in hand. Washington put up a good fight. They actually got 3 or 4 sacks on Rodgers. I knew that defensive line would dominate, but just the rest of that team wasn't up to the talent level of Green Bay. Devontae just owned that game.
Yeah.
He had an amazing catch. He had a touchdown. I mean, they didn't have an answer for him, and Rodgers was running around scoring touchdowns again and
doing the crossbodies.
across. Even when he threw it,
and he fell
as he threw it.
He literally just tripped.
Did he trip? Or I didn't know. I was like, was that
tripped.
the throw?
I don't know. I noticed that after he threw it, though, he just totally hit the deck. It was hilarious. Yeah, even
that awkward of a throw that it crossed up his feet, and
I guess,
and he still hit it.
I'll admit it. The Packers played really well. I hate to say it as a Vikings fan, but Packers played well. Washington played bad outside of that one play where Heineke almost fell, but then got up and threw the 40-yard touchdown to McLaurin, which was cool. But outside of that, it wasn't.
Green Bay was just a more talented team. Talent just showed up. Heineke played well. That boy, he is Favre Jr. That guy just went down there. He went down slinging. You know what they said? He did. He ended up throwing 3 picks because
he's just throwing up players.
Or not 3 picks. I'm sorry, 3 turnovers.
Yeah,
he had 1 pick. The pick was at the end, towards the end of the game, but
yeah, they were. I noticed he throws it a tad high consistently, but that's the only big thing I've noticed from him. But yeah, Packers pretty easily took the win in that one. Next up, we got a pretty big shocker, in my opinion, even though we both got it right. We got the Bengals heading to Baltimore to just destroy the Ravens, to be dead honest. I mean, the score kept it kind of close. I think the margin of victory was only 10 or 11 or 12 or something like that.
It was 41-17.
Oh, I knew the Bengals scored 41, but I thought the Ravens had high 20s, low 30s.
No, they never scored in the second half.
Wow, okay, so never mind. It was a true just domination.
Yeah, it was. That's what shocked me. I thought the Bengals would win. We've both seen the Bengals up close and personal. They're a good team this year, and they're showing. Now they know. Now the world knows what we already knew, and I didn't expect them to dominate like that. But I did think they'd win and show that, hey, we belong in the conversation. Not only did they say it, they exclamated it. I mean,
that Burrow to Jamar Chase LSU connection is looking good. Burrow over 400 yards, Chase over 200 yards receiving.
Most yards receiving in the NFL right now, and the most yards through 7 games in NFL history for any receiver. Not just a rookie receiver. In NFL history, he has the most receiving yards through 7 games right now. And is leading the league, obviously.
All I'm saying is, let's see when he gets double coverage, if he can step up to Justin Jefferson level.
Justin Jefferson level? So what's that, just like
Justin Jefferson level is superior.
Step forward, or?
Huh? What are you trying to say?
Is that just 1 step forward? He's only a year behind Jefferson.
Well, yeah, but he's been getting double coverage all year this year, and he's still balling out.
So
that's what I'm saying. Let's see Chase keep balling out when he starts getting double coverage.
We'll see that next year.
But, I mean, that offense is just explosive, to say the least, as I just mentioned with the Burrow, I almost said Jefferson now, with the Burrow-Chase connection, and then also you got guys like Joe Mixon in the backfield, T. Higgins,
Tyler Boyd,
the veteran presence with Tyler Boyd
CJ
in that receiving corps.
Uzama?
Their tight end has been balling
stepped
out,
up,
to say the least. And man, I've been saying it for so long that the Ravens aren't as good as their record shows, so it's happy to finally see them just get absolutely dominated.
And of course, it was an AFC North divisional team that's familiar with them. I'm sure that they have just racked their brain on how to stop Lamar Jackson. So, they probably have figured it out. And, divisional teams, they always know each other the most.
Yep.
I mean, obviously.
Good job by Zach Taylor and the Bengals to go to Baltimore.
He was on the hot seat to start the season. Boy, what a way to put an ice cube under yourself.
You turned that around big time. Next up, we have another big shocker in the Panthers at the New York Giants, where the Giants pretty decisively just destroyed the Panthers. Darnold ended up getting benched in the late 3rd, early 4th quarter for P.J. Walker.
Yeah, I believe it was late. Yeah.
Man,
I think it might have been the start of the 4th quarter.
And it's not even like with the Bengals, where the Bengals looked really good. the Giants didn't look that good. They just dominated because the Panthers looked so
Is it
bad.
the New York thing? Is it Darnold and like New York started to get too close and he started to freak out a little bit?
Well, no, because he beat the Jets.
He did. Oh yeah, in week 1 he looked really good. That's right. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Darnold looking like New York Jets Darnold the last 3 weeks.
Of course, I've been very pro Darnold, so I thought I'd mention
that.
Hey,
he looked really good those first 3 weeks.
I think he can turn it around still. I think he's kind of in his own head. He faced a couple of very, very good defenses that can get a lot of pass rush. I think he might be seeing a little bit of ghost. But once he gets
to be his thing.
I feel like he's going to get a game where he really kind of just gets it out of his head and has a really good game. And I think once that happens, he'll be able to turn the season around.
I don't know. They were immediately on the phone with Houston afterwards. Now the report is they entered themselves into the Deshaun Watson conversation.
I don't think that's quite.
That's the report. That's hard. But
I
how
think
does
that's
that
news
not mess with
over.
him mentally? Like, oh my God, I can't. I gotta play. I wonder if it's like I gotta play better. Putting so much pressure on yourself that you're cracking. You're putting too much pressure on yourself because he's thinking I'm gonna get booed or replaced again because
and another
it already
big
has
thing,
happened in New York.
Another big thing is he built this instant connection, this huge connection with DJ Moore right off the bat to start the season. And teams kind of realized that, and I noticed that the Giants put a lot of emphasis on covering DJ Moore. So I think one big thing Darnold needs to do is not rely on one receiver so much and start passing to other guys like Robbie Anderson,
which I can't believe has not been used more with the past relationship.
Rookie tight end Tommy Treble. He's still got Chuba Hubbard coming out of the backfield, who I know isn't quite Christian McCaffrey by any means, but he's still a pretty good receiving back. I think if he can just get over this kind of rough patch that he's having, I still believe he can turn around, but I must say, even as a Darnold fan, he hasn't looked good. I'm replacing him in my fantasy league. I'm going to get a new quarterback this week just because...
This will be the week he goes off.
I know, I guarantee it. I wouldn't be surprised at all, but yeah, so... And the Giants played well. I'll give it to them. The Giants did... They didn't play great, but they played well enough to beat this struggling team.
And so. I gotta give a little shout out to Odell Beckham Jr. Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
I thought OBJ was back in New York there when I saw that play.
He hit him with the one-hander. It was pretty nice.
And it took a shot
and held
and
on
got
to
back up.
It was.
I thought he got knocked out when they showed that play. I was like, oh my God, they killed him.
And
then he got hopped back up.
Danny Dimes is just not a quarterback. He's just an athlete.
He's the college football athlete.
Yeah.
Or in high school when they got playing quarterback, running back, receiver,
safety.
They're gonna throw him out there. Yeah, Jabril Peppers went on IR today. They're gonna put Danny Dimes back there at safety. He's gonna be playing two ways. Next thing you know, he's gonna be kicking.
He'll probably, put Danny Dimes back there. He'll probably get a pick. It'd be wild. But next up, we have a surprisingly very entertaining game, probably one of the games of the week in my opinion. We have the Falcons heading to Miami, not London, to Miami to take on the Dolphins, and the Falcons win it 30-28, I believe, in a last-second field goal by Young Ho Koo. But to start from finish, man, was it a fun game to watch.
It was back and forth. There was a bunch of lead changes. I think this was the closest game of the week. Tua brought him down. Got the lead from Miami, with less than 2 minutes left. It's just Matty Ice he's a former MVP.
He got the Ice nickname for a reason.
And he took him down there, and the YouTube kicking star Young Ho Koo,
one of my favorite kickers in the league.
He was the one who did wasn't he the one who did the flip kick?
He did all the crazy stuff on YouTube. I can't remember.
He did like the kick where when you kick it, you did a flip, like a backflip or something. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't remember any specifics, but I know he did some cool stuff on YouTube. But yeah, I agree. Tua looked better than he has been. He still made really questionable decisions. If I remember correctly, he had a really kind of back-breaking pick in the fourth quarter. Or just maybe not that exactly, but just a really dumb pick.
It was in the red zone. It wasn't the fourth quarter, but it was in the red zone.
But yeah, Mike Gesicki, of course, absolutely went off. It was National Tight Ends Day.
Yeah.
I heard it 100 times on Sunday. Every time a tight end did anything, it was mentioned that it was National Tight Ends Day, so that got kind of annoying. But Mike Gesicki went off, and then on the other side, even with the return of Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts proved that he is still a very viable weapon. He went off for believe it was like 8 catches, 156 yards, something
They're
like
still
that.
putting him at tight end. They still say he's a tight end.
They did on National Tight Ends Day. Every time he made a catch, man. And on National Tight Ends Day, I was like, okay, we get it. We get it. We know what day
That dude's
it is.
a receiver.
He's a
Is
receiver.
he throwing out there throwing blocks? I don't see him blocking.
He does block, actually.
Oh, does he block? Okay.
Not like...
I never watched many.
Not
Falcons
overly
games,
well, but I mean...
I just feel like
he sure tries. No, but he's been... Now that Matty Ice has kind of built some trust with him, he has been balling
Ever
out,
since
to
London.
say the least. Yep. Next up, we are going back to the blowouts. We got a few games in a row that were just absolute domination.
I think that was the closest one.
Yeah, first up, we got the Jets heading to New England to take on the Patriots, who, of course, just got absolutely obliterated. Patriots put up 54 on them, I think, so it was just pure domination. Not even really much to say about it. The Jets look bad. Zach Wilson sadly got hurt, and he's going to be out for a few weeks, which you hate to see a rookie quarterback go down. To fill that spot, they just recently traded to get Joe Flacco. So Joe Flacco is going back to the Jets.
That's all Philly was waiting for. The first team that needed a quarterback. Because they've had Gardner Minshew sitting there at third string. And again,
No one. They need to play Minshew. I forgot.
I'm pretty
that Minshew
sure
was on
that
the Eagles.
the third string quarterback is getting paid more than the starter. Just like in Chicago,
Hurts is still on
where
his rookie
Foles
contract.
is still getting paid more than the other two quarterbacks, including Dalton,
He's
to
on
be
a
third string.
Crazy contract, dude. I don't know what.
That's
they're
because of
doing there.
Jacksonville. Jacksonville signed that huge deal and then couldn't
Yeah.
get out from under it
But
until they were like,
it's just-
Chicago.
We got a deal for
I
you.
bet we can.
You pay
Yeah.
this whole last contract.
And we're gonna give you Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP, Big Dick Nick.
They're
They were all for it.
They're like, of course, give me him right
Mhm.
now. I can't wait.
I feel like the Bears have like what is it, amnesia or something, or like they get shown a really good quarterback. And they're like, oh, we need one of those because they did that. They got Foles, and then in free agency they're like, Dalton's available. We need a quarterback. They signed him, and they went into the draft. And they're like, oh shit, Justin Fields fell. We better trade up and get him. It's like you guys are just stockpiling different styles of quarterback. Like
My only thing for the Bears is just because that's all I
I
do
know.
when I think of some of the decisions the Bears make. But as for the Jets-Pats, there's just not much to say. Neither team really looked overly good or overly bad, just because that's exactly how it was supposed to.
And you
It
know
was
what?
just
I can't
complete
believe it.
domination.
Ownership had no comment on that blowout. Rodgers didn't say anything about the Bears' loss.
We're not even on the Bears yet. We'll get there. I get your joke.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but
We're not on the Bears? We're just talking about the Bears.
no, we're on the Jets-Pats. We're still a couple of games away from the Bears. We just started talking about the Bears.
Oh, man. Oops.
Next up, we got the Eagles at the
I
Raiders.
jumped ahead. My bad.
The Eagles, again, actually played pretty well with Rick. You said you learned how to pronounce it. How did that announcer say it?
Let me think. Rick Bisaccia.
Rick Bisaccia.
Yes.
Okay. We got to remember through
It's-
Bisaccia.
Bisaccia.
Rick
Like B
Bisaccia.
like bit. Sach. Cheese. Bisaccia.
Okay. The Eagles, or not the Eagles, the Raiders
Mm-hmm.
still looked good under the coaching of Rick Bisaccia, beating the Eagles. I can't remember the score, but
33-22.
33-22. Okay, so they
Philly
beat them by a
put a
good little
late
bit.
comeback together, but it just wasn't enough.
Speaking of the quarterback conversation we just had, they need to just start Minshew. I literally already forgot that Minshew was even on the Eagles.
Oh, that's how I
'Cause
got
Hurts-
talking about the Bears.
Because Hurts is just not it at this point. It's just obvious that he's
Is
not
it that or the coaching? It's so hard to tell. I don't think. Again, yes, Hurts has looked like just a backup quarterback, but I don't think that his true potential has possibly been tapped because Sirianni's, even though he says he's an expertise play caller, he's never done it before.
If you have
So
to
I don't
call
know
yourself
how
an expertise, you're just not.
that works. It's kind of like, I don't know.
But yeah, overall, the Raiders looked pretty good. Even without Waller, Foster
Mhm.
Monroe stepped up pretty well.
On National Tight End Day,
On
Foster
National
Monroe.
Tight Ends Day.
And hey, did you know on Monday, Derrick Henry hit 21.8 mile per hour on that? No, I'm
No.
just-
I never want to hear that stat again in my life. I never, if anyone ever goes 21.8 miles an hour again, I'm turning the TV off. It's just not happening.
Well, on National Tight End Day.
my God.
Is it
The
just every
announcer-
week there's going to be something that the announcers just freaking ice pick into our heads? And
It's like they just don't know what to talk about anymore, so they just pick like
they
one
just
thing a
repeat
week
the
to just
same
randomly
thing.
go off
They're just
of.
Pokemon. Just
Yeah.
repeating their names.
Exactly. But yeah, Raiders looked good, even without Gruden. Eagles looked bad, still with Sirianni.
Yeah.
That's about all there is
Yep.
to say about that one. Next up, we have the Lions, who went to Los Angeles to take on the Rams, and of course, Paisley. Sorry about that. That's our dog. She loves to bark. But the Rams pretty much did what they should have. They won, but
Did they do what
it
they
wasn't-
should have?
it
I don't
wasn't
think they did
how-
what they should have.
They did what they should have, but not how
I guess they
should've.
won, but yeah.
The
it
Lions
was-
put up a hell of a fight. They recovered an onside kick and had 2 completed fake punts, which was just insane that that happened.
That special teams coach for Detroit just went all in, and
All
is
in
probably
out.
going to get hired by someone next year as the head coach because of that. Because that's just how teams are. I mean, I don't know. I was watching Pat McAfee show, and he was talking about the Rams game. I don't know how true this is, but he was saying that he had never heard of a team losing when they have converted an onside kick and 2 fake punts. So, I mean, I don't know how far stats record that. I mean, I'm sure that there's some way to look that up, but I doubt that there is much of a losing record for a team that has lost or that has converted an onside kick and 2 fake punts in the same game.
Yeah, it's crazy that happened. Don't worry about the barking. I murdered the dog.
Oh, okay. We'll get another one.
But yeah, the Lions put up a hell of a fight, but of course the Rams just had too much firepower. Dan Campbell's going to get that win. It's gonna
MCDC's
happen.
going to get one, and then League better look out.
It's going to happen at some point. But next up, we have another blowout. We have the Bears at the Bucks. Now we can talk
There we
about the
go.
Bears. We already pretty much talked about the Bears.
Yep.
So, their whole situation is just so screwy. Justin Fields played his hardest, but just could not do anything.
He
He's
looked
missing
so
open
sad.
guys. He was just
Did
getting
you see that?
just automatic pressure.
When it was like 3, he's sitting on the bench like this, and he just.
How could you not be?
man.
I'm not
He
surprised at
He's
all.
like, what am I doing here?
But yeah, there's just literally nothing to say about this game. The Bucks just absolutely dominated all 4 quarters, all 60 minutes. So next up, we have another overall pretty well just domination with the Texans at the Cardinals. Cardinals took that game over. Again, not want to repeat myself, but all 4 quarters, all 60 minutes.
No,
just
not necessarily.
dominated.
Actually, in the first quarter,
That's
the
true.
first quarter,
That's true.
Houston was up 5-0. The Astros were up on the Diamondbacks. Because I feel like that's a baseball score.
Yeah.
Which, side note, the World Series begins tonight.
Oh,
Yep.
tonight.
Yep.
I have,
Game 1.
I have not watched a baseball game
I know.
ever. I don't think. I don't know
Yeah,
if
you
I've
have.
ever
You
watched
watch. You watch
a
baseball.
full one. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever watched.
You didn't
a full
watch any of the
baseball
World
game.
Series with us when the Cubs went?
I don't think so.
No. Huh.
But yeah, the Texans put up a fight to start.
did.
Davis Mills didn't really look good. The defense looked really good for that high-powered Cardinals
Yeah.
offense, but
Held them to
they just
31. But
once the Cardinals got some momentum going, there was just no chance
Yeah.
for the poor Texans.
yeah,
to do
there's just
anything.
that's just a team that's obviously looks like a team put together of a bunch of street free agents. That's
Because
what
that's
it looks like.
what
That's
it was
what they
exactly.
are. Yeah.
I mean, just if you want to see how much of just random free agents that team is, just look at their running back room. That's all you gotta look
Yeah.
at.
It's pretty
It was
much like
just
the
a bunch
Ravens.
of free agents.
Their
So,
running
yeah.
back rooms are about the same.
Yeah,
It looks like
exactly.
a
Just-
Madden All-Star team of the past. Like
Yeah, it's like the all Madden.
yeah.
team. But yeah, the
And Tyrod's gonna come back.
he
David
is-
Culley
and
said
he's gonna start.
he said that our starter was Tyrod to begin the year, and he'll be our starter when we come back. He's not following the prophecy. Once Tyrod
must
gets
give the-
hurt,
he must
you
give the
cannot give the
prophecy
job
time.
back to Tyrod. Tyrod moves on to his next project.
I think Tyrod's gonna die now. There's gonna be like some sort of
Or is
curse
it just
struck.
did Tyrod? Is this not the Tyrod prophecy yet?
Oh, he wasn't hurt enough.
Wasn't hurt enough.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, pierce him in the lung.
You gotta put dagger through his heart
Mm-hmm.
to get that man down for the count. But yeah,
Then you get a superstar quarterback.
that's how you do it. He's the human sacrifice.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Cardinals looked good. Next up, we have the Colts and the 49ers, who played in an absolute monsoon of a rainstorm.
So they called this an atmospheric river, which is a weather phenomenon that is very rare. Something to do with how the precipitation was coming in off the coast, was hitting the mountains and going up in the air and adding more rain to the atmosphere, and then it made like a river. Literally on the radar showed like just a river of water, like the green and yellow, just rolling through San Francisco. So it looked like, I get what they mean. It looked like a river on the radar. It was just a strip, but it just kept coming off of the Pacific coast there.
Well, you could tell during the game. It sure showed.
It was
their
that
jerseys
is some of
were
the heaviest rain.
Yeah.
When the ref would click his mic to say a penalty, you couldn't hear him. All you could hear was the raindrops hitting his coat. I've never seen anything like that. That is the most bizarre thing, where it was so heavy he couldn't even get his mic to. It was just catching the raindrops.
That's insane.
Wow.
And it was a pretty good game too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Colts ended up winning. Wentz could still actually throw the ball pretty well. I think he had like 200 yards passing.
Mm-hmm.
Michael
Pittman.
Pittman.
That really silly pick though.
I didn't get to watch the game, so
I'm not do a shovel pass. It was right to the 49er.
That
I don't know. I think the ball slipped out of his hand.
That doesn't really.
I don't know how anyone caught the ball. I don't know how anybody was able to hold on to that ball.
One person who
even
caught
at
the ball,
high and tight. I mean, you gotta have high and tight and have it.
One person who caught the ball very well was, of course, Michael Pittman Jr. He had over 100 yards, including a 57-yard bomb and a complete moss of a touchdown.
Yeah.
That poor safety stood no chance.
Man, the Colts looked really good. It's probably the best I've seen them look
good
all year. I mean, when I saw that weather, I was like, this is San Francisco favor. 100%.
And the Niners didn't even look bad. The Colts just looked better.
Yeah,
the Niners played pretty decently, too.
The Colts just outplayed them in a game that was really right up the Niners' alley. Especially Indianapolis, coming from a dome stadium, or at least a turf field where, you don't deal with the rain. You don't play in the rain like they do. Yeah, at least San Francisco probably has practiced in the rain and stuff. It
was a fun game to watch. I enjoyed the little bit I saw and the highlights I watched. I enjoyed it. But to end it out this week, we got Monday Night Football with the Saints Seahawks. And Cal and I were just talking about this right before. Man, it was just a boring game.
Oh, geez.
It was not fun to watch out.
Manning was so mad. Peyton Manning on the Manning telecast, he was just basically done with that game by the bad quarterback play and the bad play in general. Winston didn't play bad, I guess.
Neither team really
neither
deserved
played,
to win that game.
Yeah. I mean, both of them didn't look like wanted to win the game. I mean,
yeah. The Seahawks didn't really look good. Geno didn't look anything like
they had the one
big
big 85-yard touchdown for Seattle, and that was it. And then on the touchdown that New Orleans scored, Winston actually fumbled the snap, and it was a broken play. So
and then you got off to Kamara, who did the rest. And not much to say about it because it was just boring.
Yeah, that was not a good one to have.
The only thing to really think about is, was this an up or down week for the Saints? We've been talking about the
really
Saints
confused.
up
It
and
looked
down
like
weeks.
a down week the way they played.
Yeah.
But it was a win.
And then they had the bye week, and then now they had this week where they played bad but got the win.
So I think this week they play good against Tampa Bay, but Tampa pulls it out in the end.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. Well, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. We will be back Thursday with our preview for NFL Week 8. But until then, do not forget
to eat the W. Paisley, shut up!